classroom. So if architecture has to be taken, then I have to take art, then I have to take culture. Randomly, I will mention them. What provides me with time, I will mention them. Okay. So we have been discussing on a very good morning to all of you. So we have been discussing on the idea of Bahamanid Empire. Yesterday we did about Bahamanid Empire, and I told you most of the questions that can come most of the questions that can be asked is like from architecture side, culture side. The same is with literature side, because 2017, 17, 18, 19, mostly you check, especially in mains, 16, 17, after 15, most of the questions has been taken from what can we say? The southern part of India. Okay, what is the understanding for Krishnadevaraya? Yesterday I mentioned that, so you have to mention what Krishnadevaraya was, what was his administrative tactics. Then again, not very expressively you have to do. Then you have to write about he was a scholar, Amukta Malyada, the book which he has written. So all these concepts that we have to write. So, this is the kind of understanding that we go across with. Okay. Now, when you talk about Vijayanagar Empire, so the understanding of Vijayanagar Empire we know is their capital was Kampili or Hampi, as we know in modern times. Very good morning to all. So, when you talk about the Kampili region, what we understand is it's in the northern part of Karnataka mostly, and they dominated mostly in that region. So that's Try to see that. No. Please excuse me for 1 second. I mean, there is one problem. So let me just rectify that. Please let me. So I was mentioning about the same. So what we are seeing here is the place where the Vijayanagar kingdom was located, and then if you look at their language, if you look at the context of their language, that was mainly Kannada, Telugu, and Tulu. So Kannada, Telugu, and Tulu was the uh, languages which was used by them. And then another importance that we understand is it was started by two brothers who were called as Harihara and Bukkaraya. Harihara Raya, Bukkaraya. They were governors of the Hoysala rulers. So they were, or they were like border officers of a Hoysala ruler. And when the North Indian kingdom, Delhi Sultans, the Delhi Sultans attacked the Hoysala region under Muhammad bin Tughlaq, Veeraballala III. Under Veeraballala III, there was more acceptance given to the officers. I mean, the Hoysalas were defeated. The Hoysalas were defeated, and they were taken to Delhi. They were taken as prisoners to Delhi, and they were converted into Islam. They were converted into Islam. Prelims, they don't ask any question at all. If you check last year's question paper, and Selvan, if you check last year's question paper, not a single question from medieval India has come. Not a single question from medieval India has come. That doesn't mean that they cannot ask. Last year, I'm saying. But when you look at trend from 2014, 2014 means there was a political change in central government. So if you look the trend from 2014, medieval India has been considerably reduced. Modern India also has been considerably reduced. Modern India, you cannot say that considerably reduced. Modern India is there, but medieval India has been considerably reduced. But there is a presence of medieval India always we find in mains. If this year also you take the Persian literature they asked. Persian literature they asked in mains. 3-4 questions from history came. So there was much questions from, and that too, it's not about kings or queens. It is more or less about art, culture and architecture. In mains, I'm saying. Prelims, there was no question from medieval India. No question at all. Last year, last to last year, there was 2-3 questions were there, but we see a steady reduction of questions. That is it. A steady reduction of questions is there, and more of ancient and medieval, ancient and modern is asked. Modern is also getting considerably reduced. They are preferring more of ancient India, and then they are balancing out on modern. Little bit of modern also is asked. So this is what the trend what we are seeing, but that doesn't mean that we can, completely avoid everything and look. Because for mains medieval is asked. So definitely you have to study that. Okay. This is what you must understand. The next importance that we have is like, I hope I'm clear about the question asked. Then next importance that we have is like, as I said, the two brothers, that is Harihara Raya and Bukka Raya, they were taken to Delhi. They were converted into Islam. And they were then asked, okay, you will go back to South India, and then you will start ruling from that place as a good Muslims. So they promised that they will come back and rule as good Muslims. So once they came back to South India, they met the sannyasi. The sannyasi's name was Vidyaranya. Vidyaranya was a sannyasi in Sringeri. Sannyasi from Sringeri. So he advised them not to lose their cultural path and to return back to their original faith. So what these two did was they reverted back. They converted and went. So they reverted back into Hinduism, and they pledged. They took a pledge that we vow that we will protect Hinduism as best as possible. So there they rose the banner of Vijayanagar. This is how Vijayanagar comes into existence. Many stories are there. One of the most popular story is this. So there Vijayanagar comes into existence in the year 1336. Some books will tell you 1337 also. Okay. Now it's very easy to understand Vijayanagar and Bahmani, because 10 years after Vijayanagar, Bahmanid Empire is born. So 1337 is Vijayanagar, 1347 is Bahmanid Empire. Easy to remember then. So they were also called as Karnataka Empire. Vijayanagar was also called as Karnataka Empire, as well as the Portuguese called it Bisnagara. Bisnagara, B-I-S, Bisnagara. Likewise also they were called. Now, they originally served, now they were vassals, they were feudals of, they were subordinates of the Kagadiya ruler. The Kagadiya ruler, that was Prataparudra Deva. Prataparudra Deva II. And they were overthrown by Tughlaqs. Tughlaqs overthrew them. And then the story you know. Then they converted, and now when you talk about this particular dynasty, there are 4 dynasties in total. 4 dynasties in total are, one was Sangama, Saluva, Tuluva, Aravidu. Sangama, Saluva, Tuluva, Aravidu. 4 dynasties were there in total. When you speak about these 4, Sangamas ruled somewhere from 1336 to 1486. 1336 or 37 also you can write, no issues. So 1336 to 1336 to 1486, Sangamas. Then comes Salwa. Salwa was 1486, 1505. 1486, 1505 was Salwa. Then comes Tulua, 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 1505, 1569. 1505, 1569, Tulua dynasty. Then comes Aravid dynasty, Aravid, Aravidu, Aravid dynasty, 1569 to 1672. 1569 to 1672 was Aravid dynasty. So this is what the four dynasties of what can we say? Vijayanagar. That means dynasty means family who rules. Okay. So first comes Sangama dynasty. Sangama dynasty, when we talk, 1336 to 1486. 1336 to 1486. That comes by Aravid dynasty. Harihara was the first ruler. So Harihara went on to become the first ruler. That was 1336 to 56, 20 years of rule. Harihara comes by. He was the first ruler of Vijayanagar. The first ruler of Vijayanagar. Then he took like Harihara Raya first. Harihara Raya first. He took the title. There he started ruling, and after Harihara Raya, under Harihara Raya they tried to establish a good administrative system. So after Harihara Raya, next ruler was Bukkaraya. So Bukkaraya comes by 1356 to 1377. 1356 to 1377, Bukkaraya comes by. So he was the chief of Arcot. I mean, like he defeated the chief of Arcot and he absorbed the Arcot region, the Chennai region, Arcot we can say. South Arcot, North Arcot, you know that better. One request is there, like I said, if any questions can be sent. See, you want to ask me some privately, I accept, you can ask privately. But when you are sending messages of a common thing, try to put it in the common platform, not a private message. Why? Because when I start replying your questions, others will be confused because they are not getting to see that. So any questions, if it is not for, if you feel embarrassed or something like that, then you can put a private question. Otherwise, try to be public as much as possible, please. Nothing like that will ever happen. Don't worry. I mean, like, see, only if the class is too much disturbed, there will be a problem like that. Other than that, if you are genuine in your questions, you just stick to asking questions, then there is no problem. But unnecessary talks comes means then admin has to do whatever it is very important because it is disturbing the class, right? Unnecessary talks, let's avoid. When we stick to class, let's stick to question and let the question be foolish or it is important that discretion is into my hands. I am not the moderator, but question analysis is in my hands. Don't worry about that. So silly or nonsense or sense is my discretion. But only if the question comes, then I am all welcome. But unnecessary talks means then that troubles the classroom. So Harihara Raya took the title. Harihara took the title Harihara Raya the first. So since he was the first ruler, there was no pomp and show. Pomp and show, again, South India, we understand one thing. See, especially like Malayalis don't do that much. But if you go to Andhra, you come to Tamil Nadu, you go to Karnataka, that aspect is very much there. I mean, like, titles are still given. I mean, like, you look at your film stars. How many titles do they have? You don't like to address them by their names, isn't it? If you take, people don't like to take, Dalapati, Ilaya Dalapati, likewise. So it's a title that is given to that person. Or if you go to Karnataka, then again rock star, superstar, mega star, power star. Likewise, whatever titles are there. So see, these are not official titles that we see. These are unofficial titles given by the people or given by the media. The media will highlight such a thing, and then people also take it up, and that becomes, so it's not like, so it's kind of a pet name. It's kind of a pet name that is used mostly uh, by the people on the person because of the love and affection that is shown to the person. So let it be a political leader, let it be a film star, let somebody they love, the public love. They all have titles. As Kerala, you don't get to see the like that. We use the names only. So what we understand is, Hariharaya has title was Hariharaya the first. So as the empire gets more prestigious, their trouble comes by. The trouble of more titles comes by. Because long title, when we go across, we'll understand. So likewise, so there was a great expansion that was done during Vijayanagar, and one of the expansion I did mention you. I mean, like Bukkaraya's son, that is Kumara Kampanna. He attacked the Madurai Sultan. He defeated and destroyed Madurai Sultan, and then he went across. So his exploits were mentioned by his wife, that is Ganga Devi, in a book called as Madhura Vijayam. So thus kind of books were written, such kind of things. And his rule extended up to Rameshwaram. That is, Bukkaraya's rule extended up to Rameshwaram. And Bukkaraya also patronized great Hindu sannyasis, that is Vidyaranya as well as Sayana. Vidyaranya and Sayana was patronized. So after Bukkaraya comes Harihara II. After Bukkaraya comes Harihara II. There the prestige of the kingdom has increased. So what I was saying was, they got grand titles like Maharaja Adiraja, Raja Marga, Raja Parameshwara, Veda Marga Pravartaga, then Vaidhiga Margastya Panacharya. Likewise, several titles comes by. So as the prestige increases, titles also come. So very South Indian, ancient, when you look at Cholas, when you look at Pallavas, when you look at Rashtrakutas, Chalukyas, all these people have extensive. Cholas are infamous in that. Cholas are very infamous in that. So because, for example, we take, say, Rajaraja Cholan or Rajendra Cholan. Like when we look at kings like this, nearly 10 to 20 titles are there. Different names are there. Mudigondan, Mumudigondan, Pandita Cholan, Martanda Cholan. So, Nitya Vinodan. Likewise, Cholas have n number of titles. This is what we understand. South Indians very much love titles. We follow that culture even today also. We follow that culture even today. Then, coming into the areas of possession, when Vijayanagar again conquers most of the Canara region. Canara region means western coast of Karnataka is what we call Canara. So Canara region, then Mysore region, Trichinapalli region, Kanchi, all these regions are captured by Vijayanagar. So when they capture the Madurai region, Pandyas are suppressed. When the Pandyans are suppressed, the Pandyans are one group we will see in history who never gives up. How much ever you try, you know, இந்த ஒரு பேச்சு உண்டല്ലോ, like Tamil வெறி, the வெறித்தனம். So that we can see anywhere in history. Means if Tamil Nadu has learned that verithanam, they're very, as an outsider I can tell very much. I mean, like very calm people, very decent people. But once get angry means don't stay anywhere near. So that concept of verithanam that comes, we can see exactly not from the north Tamil Nadu region. We can see exclusively from south Tamil Nadu, Madurai ki Keela. So that area is, you know, even when movies also take any movies that comes, you know, in that Madurai region or below that, then it's very traditional, very local, very village type, and that kind of movies can be seen. So even in history is the same thing. When you study history, see, we see many kingdoms coming up. I mean, like, be it the Rashtrakutas, be it the Pallavas, Cholas, everybody tries very hard, extensively hard to, you know, knock down the Pandyas. But Pandyas will never surrender. Pandyas will keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back. Pandyas will be there, their power will be, I didn't understand. BSc CS from AICSCC Trichy. Okay. Well and good if you are studying there. What must I do? So anyway, I didn't understand what is the context of it. You have any questions, you ask. Okay. That's what it's about. So I was mentioning, the Pandyas kept on coming back until they were completely destroyed by a group of people, a group called as Kalabhras. Is mentioned in NCERT textbook. The Pandyas were completely destroyed by Kalabhras somewhere in the 13th to 14th century. So until then, they kept on their power, their prestige, their pride, everything was very alive. Now, one more reason is there. When you talk about this particularity, I mean, like, if you look at South India, Cholas were more powerful. So Cholas were most powerful. Pandyas were not that much. Cheras were there. Cheras also. So the kind of extensivity. I mean, Cheras. See, if you look, Cheras are Chera Alam. Chera Alam. Alam means country. So Chera's Alam, Cheralam went on to become Kerala. Okay. Then again, Pandyas below Madurai. Madurai was their capital, and below most of the areas. And again, even though we say later Cholas from Tanjavur region, Tanjavur is also lower. But early Cholas, we kind of have an understanding. Their presence was more into the northern part. Cholas were there in the south, but they had the presence in the northern part also. So if you understand how these people behaved also, I mean, like, Cheras, see, famous name is very much important in things. I didn't understand, Vijay Kumar. Can you rephrase it? Can you rephrase the question? Famous name very much important means you mean titles? You mean titles? Do you mean titles? Kumari Kandam we explain in Sangam period. When we talk about most of the, see, I am trying to incorporate, I am in Vijayanagar. I am trying to incorporate the Sangam period also here. That's why I am mentioning about this Chera Chola Pandyas. So just mention so that I can finish off the topic and then go back to Vijayanagar. That is what I am trying to. Kumari Kandam as a area that was there. Kumari Kandam is very well mentioned. That is a UPSC question also. There is a UPSC question because so as you can see, there is a presence of Kumari Kandam, or it was called as Lemuria. Even though many people have not accepted this, we certainly have a UPSC question on this. The UPSC question was, see, when we say about Sangam, there is Mudal Changam, Idai Changam, Kadai Changam. Mudal Sangam, Idai Sangam, Kadai Sangam. So first classical age, the middle classical age, and the later classical age. So when you talk about these classical ages, what happens was, the Mudal Sangam, when we talk, it comes in the Ten Madurai region. So Ten Madurai means South Madurai. Then the Idai Changam, it is mentioned that it was written in the place called as Kabadapuram, or some people call it as Kabadapuram also. Kabadam. So that is why Kabadam, that Kabada means koi or lie. So that is what the concept comes by. So Kabadapuram or Kabadapuram, it is, this place is exactly, so Kabadapuram somewhere comes in the middle of Kumari Kandam, somewhere in the middle. And the oceans reclaim those regions, and most of the books are lost except for Tolgapiyam. Except for Tolgapiyam, almost all the books are lost. Okay. Then this I explain very much in when I teach in Karnataka and Andhra. Andhra I don't have a problem, but Karnataka when I teach, I get this question. This question is like, Kannadigas are very proud about the Kannada language, just like Tamils are. Kannada people are very proud about their Kannada language. So there are some Kannada fanatics. I'm not criticizing anybody. See, if you look at Andhra and Kerala, or Telangana, Andhra and Kerala, you don't see much of that linguistic fanatism with Andhra and Kerala. Andhra, Telangana, Kerala. Because once we finish our education, we want to run away from India into US or Gulf or Europe or somewhere. But if you look at this Karnataka region in Tamil Nadu, even though Tamils also go out a lot, see that particular example can be found of the Tamil unity. Like I said, as an outsider, I can vouch for this very much. I can understand that Tamil unity when the protest of Jallikattu came. When Jallikattu protest came, I mean, like world over the Tamils stood together. That is only because of that linguistic unity. Tamil, the unity that was there, that is the only reason. So, so what I understand from this particularity is that the unity that comes by. Similarly, Kannadigas are also very passionate about their language. Kannada there is a Kannada soft corner always. So some of my students who don't believe this, because this is considered to be a myth. So what they do is they come and ask me, sir, Kannada should be more older than Tamil. So I definitely don't, and especially last year, it has got a validation also. Tamil language has got a validation because our beloved Prime Minister, he went into UN He spoke in the Tamil language. He gave a speech in Tamil, even though many of us did not understand what he spoke, but he tried in Tamil. So that particularity itself, he claimed Tamil is the oldest language. So there we are getting a claim. Simply he will not go and say that Tamil is old. And American Linguistic Society, long before itself, had given the understanding that Tamil is the oldest. Now, why does Kannadigas get an idea? Why do Kannadigas get an idea that Kannada is much older? Is because, see, when you talk about this Sangam period, so somewhere like 9000 BC to 5600 BC is the Mudal Sangam. So nowhere history can be established there. As such, current history is not established. Then second Sangam comes somewhere from 4000 BC to somewhere 3600, 2000 BC. Then the third Sangam is in modern day Madurai. The third Sangam, place where it occurs, is modern day Madurai. In modern day Madurai, it is mentioned that the third Sangam came somewhere in 300 BC. 300 BC is kind of acceptable according to the historical timeline. That is why many people kind of have an understanding that if Sangam period begins in 300 BC, Kannada language was there from somewhere like 500 BC, not literary. Literature of Kannada comes from 300 BC. So we consider that Kannada also started evolving around 300 BC. See, before the writing, before the literature coming, at least 200, 300, maybe 1000 years also, spoken language should have been there. But when we take the understanding of Kumari Ganda, we very well get the understanding Tamil was there from somewhere like 10,000 BC, 12,000 BC or something. 9000 BC onwards, Sangam literature was there, writing was there. So definitely we can understand Tamil is the oldest. So if you look for South Indian languages, Tamil is the oldest language. Then after that, there are, so accordingly we have classical languages also in India. Classical languages are there in India. So how many classical languages? How many classical languages are there in India? 6 classical languages. 6 classical languages when you speak. Now, this is very important because last year, they gave importance to one language. It is called the sweetest language in India. 6 classical languages and one sweet language is there. Which is the sweetest language in India? Which is the sweetest language in India? Malayalam is the toughest language in India. Malayalam is the toughest language in India. Malayalam, what happened was, there is a story in 1948 when Pakistan attacked India. 1948, 47, 48. Pakistan attacked India for Kashmir region. So Madras regiment was posted there, it seems. So Madras regiment, what happens? Madras regiment means South India. So Malayalis also was there. So they have to talk. They were talking over radio, and what they did was okay, I'll tell you. So they were fed up in talking in codes. They have to talk in codes only because the other person should not understand. So these two Malayali soldiers who were the radio operators, they were fed up of talking in codes. They started speaking in Malayalam itself. So the Pakistanis were listening to the codes. So suddenly the code language changed and very fast language came. Very fast they were speaking. And they said, they reported, they could not understand anything. I think they must have been from South Kerala, Trivandrum or something. Because South Kerala is very fast in our speaking. So what we did is, they said to their superiors, we couldn't understand anything. It was like you take stones, put it in a tin, and then shake the tin. That is what they heard over the radio. So understand, Malayalam is a very tough language. Malayalam is not good to hear also. Malayalam is the youngest language in South India, 100 BC, somewhere 100 BC, because it has, and moreover, Malayalis can speak almost every language we can speak in the same tone. That is because we have a mix of Tamil and Sanskrit. We mix both Tamil and Sanskrit and then speak. 56 alphabets are there. So mixing all this kind of tongue will also twist nicely. Oldest language is Tamil. Tamil is not sweet. Tamil is poetic language. Tamil is a very poetic language. Tamil is a very poetic language. Because when you look at the kind of music created, songs created, please don't send me in Tamil. I don't understand. I cannot read Tamil. You can, somebody please translate. Even if you sent Tamil in English script, I understand. But certainly not. I don't know to read. I take like 5 minutes, 10 minutes to read this one sentence. I know to look at the words and then conclude something out of it. Only I'm that slow. So what I'm saying is, Tamil is very poetic. That's why we get a lot of songs, beautiful songs from Tamil. Poetic language is Tamil. North India also has a poetic language, that is Urdu. Urdu is a very poetic language. So what we can very well understand this. How can we understand this? Is say, for example, Hindi. If Hindi stands alone, Hindi is a very tough language, very tough. So in order to bend the toughness, we need a little bit of sweetness. So what Hindi does is, okay, Bharatiyar quotes. So Hindi will adopt Urdu. Most of the Hindi songs, for bending that very rigid language, they need a curve. So sweet languages are always curving. Malayalam also same thing. Whenever we Malayalis need to bend our language, we adopt Tamil. Most of the Malayalam songs, when you listen, you will think it is like Tamil only. There is no difference. That is the adoption of words from the other language, from the mother language, that we can say. So, sweetest language modern day in India is Bengali. Sweetest language modern day in India is Bengali. Bengali is accepted as the most sweetest language. Kannada, again, when you ask Kannadigas, Kannada they say it is like butter, venna madiri. Kannada is like benne, they say. No, modern acceptance. I'm saying about, not about Bharatiyar's statement or something. I'm saying about last year, they have accepted the most sweetest language as Bengali. Now that is a statement which has come. We have to accept it like that. Tamil is a poetic language. Poetic. Poetry itself is beautiful. Poetry is sweet. Everything can be accepted. Now, when Kannadigas say Kannada is like butter, that means it is so nice. Okay. If you go for Carnatic music, Karnataka Sangeeta, if you go for Carnatic music, which language is used most? Neither Tamil nor Kannada. It is used Telugu. Telugu is used more. I accept your pride and fever for this, but let's accept accordingly to how government has given. Okay. Then now one more thing is there. 6 classical languages I mentioned. So when you talk about the classical languages, what we understand is, so when we talk about the classical languages, yeah, Telugu is used. First one Tamil, second one is Sanskrit, classical languages. Second one is Sanskrit, third one is Telugu. Fourth one is Kannada. Fifth one is Malayalam. Sixth one is Odia language. So how can you give classical language status? Is a language should have what? A language should have 1,000 years of existence, 1,000 years of literary existence. Literature should be there. Spoken it can be, because if you say Tulu is a very old language. Kodava language is very old. So many languages are there, much older. So, you know, Tulu and all is from 2000 BC. So that has somewhere like 4,000 years of existence. Konkani is very old. But Konkani does what? In Goa, Karwar region, they take more of Marathi. In Mangalore region, the Konkanis are there. Konkanis will write in Konkani language, but they will use the script Kannada. So they don't have a literature. So literature, 1,000 years or more should be there. That is accordingly, a language is given importance. So this is what. So let anything be there. I'm making you understand. This is how the arrangement was done. Okay. Literature comes means grammar also will be there. That is what the understanding is. So without a grammar, literature cannot be. You cannot scribble anything and call that a language. No, definitely not. Okay. So let's come back. So why titles were important is, see for example, let's take South India again. Why titles? One more question I need to address. That's a very good question. Why titles were important for the kings? Titles showed without any understanding itself. For example, in South India, Chera, Chola, Pandya, 3 of them were there. So when we take, if you have the title Mudi Mannan or Mudi Mannan, they say. Mudi Mannan means, no, Bengali, Hindi and all is not classical language. They don't have 1,000 years of existence. They are less than 1,000 years. Hindi came like what? 1200 AD. So they are hardly 800 years. They are hardly 800 years. Mudi Juda Mannan, Mudi Mannan. No. Mudi Mannan is there. Mudi Mannan, Irumudi Mannan, Mumudi Mannan. Mudi Mannan means Chera, Chola, Pandya. If one ruler has one territory, for example, like Rajendra Cholan had the title Mumudi Cholan. Rajaraja Cholan. Mumudi Cholan means when they conquer all the other places. So Chola king conquering Pandya and Chera. So they have 3 places under their control. So Mumudi, Moonu areas also they have under their control. Irumudi Mannan or Irumudi Arasan. That means he has 2 places under control. Maybe Chera or Pandya, maybe Chola or Pandya, maybe Chola or Chera, likewise. So this is the kind of understanding. So when somebody has Mumudi with their title, we understand, okay, this person had all the territories under their control. All Chera, Chola, Pandya was under their control. Likewise, for example, Rajendra Cholan had another title called as Kadaram Kondan. Kadaram is a place, modern day Malaysia, Indonesia and all. So when we understand Kadaram Kondan, okay, Kadaram, which was Kadaram? Kadaram was a region in Indonesia region, or the islands, Sumatra, Java islands and all. So we understand, okay, this person. It was a kind of information that he took the area, he was in possession of that land. The titles helped people understand many things. So another Rajaraja Cholan, Nitya Vinodan. He was always after pleasure. He enjoyed his life. So that means he was mostly enjoying his life. Maybe wine and woman. Wine, woman and wealth is what enjoyment is all about for a king. So Nitya Vinodan comes means then definitely he was a pleasurable man. That's what we understand. This is why titles are given. Okay. This is a general attitude about Sangam period. So I won't be going, not much of questions come from the Sangam period also, because one thing, South Indian names are very tough for North Indians. So generally they don't ask much of questions from South Indian context. And Sangam though don't even think about it. If they want to put across a tough question for all of India, they will pick up questions from South India because they cannot pronounce most of our words. That's one thing. It's a hard truth. We have to accept it. Anyway, so coming back. So this is the general understanding of Sangam period. Just keep that in mind. So most of the Tamil regions were captured. Pandyas were kept under control. Then the Vijayanagar kings also patronized Tamil poets. So Tamil poets also was there, as well as Kannada poets. And they continuously had war with the Bahmanid kings. The Bahmanid kings was because in Karnataka there is a district called as Raichur. This Raichur Doab is very important because rice, one of the best, see, many areas are very good for rice. One of the best forms of rice comes from Raichur. So Raichur is because Krishna Tungabhadra river, the Doab region. The Doab region. So Ab means river. So 2 rivers comes mean Doab. 5 rivers comes means Punjab. Punjab means 5 rivers. The land of 5 rivers. Punjab is called as land of 5 rivers. Ab means river. So Doab. So Krishna Tungabhadra Doab. Then we have Ganga Yamuna Doab in Prayagraj, Allahabad. Likewise, this is one understanding that we can have about the same. Now, what we understand from the same is, okay, as I was mentioning, Tamil poets were there, Kannada poets were, one of the most important Kannada poets were Madhura. So there is a confusion here. Madhura means immediately people will think, okay, he's a Tamil poet. But he was not a Tamil poet, he was a Kannada poet. Kannada poet also was then. Next comes another question which has come is Devaraya II. Devaraya II is considered to be the greatest in Sangama. So when we talk about him, he wrote the book Mahanataka Sudhanidhi. Mahanataka Sudhanidhi. That also comes. And a lot of foreign travelers comes, foreign accounts are there. Indian history is always concerned with foreign accounts. For example, like Niccolo Conti, Abdul Razak. So they keep on asking, where did Niccolo Conti come from? Where did Abdul Razak comes from? Where did Barbosa come from? Where did Nikitin comes from? So likewise, many travelers, foreign travelers were there. All of them has come and written about Vijayanagar is that Vijayanagar was the most amazing place in the world because nearly around 1 million population was there. 1 million. 1 million population. 1 million means what? 10 lakhs. So 1 million population is available in North Karnataka. Understand, North Karnataka is not that green. Not that green. It is a desolate place. Not desolate, I'm saying, but it should be, it is water scarcity is there in North Karnataka region. In that kind of a place, they built one of the most amazing places and nearly around 10 lakh people was living there. So that was an amazement for most of the people. And one more thing, modern day. The government of India has also asked the Town Planning Commission of India to look into these medieval and ancient architectures. Why? Because medieval and ancient architectures, see, hot place and you have more than 10 lakh people. See, you can survive without food for 2-3 days, but not water. You need water within 24 hours. Or more than 24 hours, if you are without water, then you go into dehydration and die immediately. So, how was water made available for 10 lakh people throughout the year? This is a study going on now because we are all going into water scarcity. We are all going into water scarcity. So the government of India has told the town planners, study properly how the water management was done in medieval and ancient India, so that if useful, can be brought into modern day India also. This is a study going on now. So there can be questions asked from, the water reservoirs. The water reservoirs, for example, recently I saw a question that was Gangai Konda Cholan. When he took the title Gangai Konda Cholan, he came back, bathed the Chidambaram Lingam in the waters of Ganga, and then he made a pond. He made a pond. What was that pond called as? What was that reservoir called as? What was that reservoir called as? In Gangai Konda Cholapuram itself. No idea. It was called as Chola Gangam. Chola Gangam. Chola Gangam was built. They had a lot of slaves brought from Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka was conquered. So these soldiers who were caught from Sri Lanka as slaves, they were brought and they dug up this big reservoir, which was called Chola Gangam. This was called as the liquid pillar of victory. Usually, when a king becomes victorious, he will erect a stambam, Vijaya Stambam, victory pillar we say. So a victory pillar was erected, but here what they are doing is, they did not erect a victory pillar. They erected a pond, and that pond was called Chola Gangam. Chola Gangam was famously called as the liquid pillar of victory. Likewise, so Government of India is studying most of these reservoirs erected by the kings and trying to save most of the cities from going into a drought because climatic change is happening. Likewise, also history questions can come. Understand? Likewise, also history questions can come. So please keep in mind. So then, after the Sangama dynasty comes the Tuluva dynasty. Tuluva dynasty lasted for 20 years only, not much important. Then after the Tuluva dynasty comes, after the Sangama comes Saluva. After Sangama comes Saluva. After Saluva comes Tuluva. Tuluva dynasty. Tuluva dynasty, most important personality is Krishnadevaraya. Krishnadevaraya, when you talk, one of the greatest rulers of Vijayanagar, and had continuous contact with Portuguese. Then he was a great, literarian. He wrote many books. For example, like Amukta Malyada. Amukta Malyada was one. Many titles. So let's not go into titles more, but we have discussed more on less on titles. So let's come back. So Amukta Malyada was there. Then another books like Jambavadi Kalyanam, then Madalasa Charitram, Satyavadu Parinayam, then Usha Parinayam, Rasa Manjari. Likewise, many books were written. He patronized most of these books in Sanskrit. Sanskrit that was written. Then not only he was a great scholar, he had many scholars under him. So some of the scholars under him was, they were called as Ashta Adigas. Ashta Adigar. Ashta Adigas they were called. Okay. So when you talk about this Ashta Adigar, that also many great personalities were for the father of the Telugu literature. That is Allasani Peddana. Allasani Peddana is also called as father of Telugu literature. So he was one among the Ashta Adigas, then Nandi Timmanna, Durjadi, Tenali Ramakrishna, Bhattu Murthy, Pingali Surana. So likewise, 8 people were there who, and their books also are important. So watch out for them. Then when you look at the architecture of Vijayanagar, again Vijayanagar architecture also is very important because most of the temple constructions, that huge constructions which we call as Raya Gopurams were constructed. So that is one of the most important understanding of Vijayanagar. That comes by. Then next importance is he also patronized the Tirupati temple. The Tirupati temple, when you go and see, the crown of Tirupati temple studded with diamonds, and the swords, the golden swords which is studded by diamonds, those all are brought by Krishnadeva, who donated. And the life-size image of Krishnadeva, even today when you go to Tirupati, you can see that. The life-size image of Krishnadeva and his 2 wives. So both Raya Gopuram, Raya, R-A-Y-A, Raya Gopurams. So they some of the important architectural styles that are there. Then extensive level of, when you say Vijayanagar, is another one, reservoirs. Extensive construction of reservoirs were there for these people. Because I said, kind of not very rich in water or something. So extensive construction of reservoirs were there. And they were defeated and destroyed in the Battle of Talikota. In 1565. In 1565, Aliya Ramaraya was completely defeated and destroyed. That way, the Tuluva dynasty comes to an end. After the Tuluva, he said that most of the people ran away from the Kampali region because the Muslim army was attacking. So when the Muslim army under Deccan Sultans, except for Berar, rest everybody. Yesterday we discussed, Qutub Shahi, Nizam Shahi, Barid Shahi of Bidar. Okay. So all of them together, they came, 4 Deccan Sultans were together against Vijayanagar, and they destroyed the Vijayanagar Empire. He said that every building was pulled down stone to stone. Because that much anger they had against Vijayanagar Empire, they destroyed completely, and they went into the region called as Penugonda. Most of these people went into the region called as Penugonda, and they settled there. So they called themselves Rajas of Vijayanagar. And this is what we call the family, Aravidu family. Aravidu family will be ruling from mostly Penugonda. But they were not as glorious as the original Vijayanagar rulers. They were like, what can we say? A shadow of Vijayanagar. A shadow of Vijayanagar, and then they ruled from Penugonda region. Then we can say Chandragiri. Chandragiri also was another capital of Aravid rulers. Some of the rulers, famous rulers, was Sriranga, Venkata, likewise. Now, one importance about Venkata second. Venkata second is, see this nobility. I mean, senior most officials of Vijayanagar was called as Amaranayagar. Amaranayagar, what they did was, most of these Amaranayagas came and settled in Mysore region, modern day Mysore region. So these people, what they did was, they kind of settled in Mysore region. So they took the title, the Tamil title they took, called as Odayar. Odayar title was there. So the Tamil word only it is. So when this Tamil word Odayar later on went on to become Kannadized. So they went on to become Vodayar. So Vodayars are still the rulers of Mysore. Vodayars are still the rulers. So Venkata second is the person who gives them the title Raja. So Mysore Maharaja we said. So Mysore Maharaja is the title Raja was given to them by Venkata second, who was the Vijayanagar ruler. This is what the end of Vijayanagar ruler has come. So we have done almost all on Bahmani also. Now we shall go into modern India. Modern India we shall go. Which kings are famous for temple construction? Like, see, it is generally said that Tirupati temple, most of the construction happened when Tirupati temple, if you speak most, it was a temple which was very long itself. The current construction was brought by Vijayanagar rulers. Most of the buildings that we see. I need to check on that particular question, Hari Prabhu. Maybe tomorrow I'll give you an account on that because that's a very regional question. So, see, when you study for TNPC or any regional exam, when you study for any regional exam, what happens is very in-depth questions will come. Very in-deep questions will come. Yes, we can say that because a lot of constructions in South India was capable because of slaves brought from Sri Lanka. And especially when we talk about Pandyas and Cholas and all, especially Cholas. Cholas were very victorious in their campaigns, especially when you speak about Rajaraja Chola and Rajendra Chola. Rajaraja Chola and Rajendra Chola, when you speak about them, I mean, like they are very successful. They are very great. I mean, like actually, see, as a Malayali, don't feel bad. You people doesn't recognize the greatness of these people, this father and son. I mean, how have you abandoned one of the greatest personalities of the Tamil history? Rajaraja Chola. If you go look at his burial site, or if you go look at his resting place, it's abandoned as nobody cares about it. Nobody bothers about it. It's a small stone that is kept, and a light has been lit on that. Nobody lights also. That is not how that personality has to be treated. That is not how the personality has to be treated at all. Now, sometimes when I come to Chennai, I feel bad. I feel very bad on that, how the Rippan building is treated. You know, next to Madras Central Railway Station, Chennai Central Railway Station, the white building is there. Rippan building it is. I came as a child into Chennai somewhere like 1980s. Around 1989, 1990 or something, I came to Chennai once. I was a kid, small kid. That time, there was a big garden in front of that Rippan building. See, Rippan was the most lovable viceroy of India. And especially Madras presidency loved him so much when he resigned in 1884. Rippan comes into India in 1880. He is the father of local self-government. He taught us how to rule ourselves. He taught us how panchayat system and all. So panchayat system is the lowest form. Then we slowly climbed. Now we have parliament. Now we are one among the very great nations among the world itself. The British came and destroyed our ruling capacity. But one person from the British itself helped us climb back. That is Lord Rippan. So Madras, that's what, very simple. So what I am saying is, when I used to regularly take class in Chennai, in Officers IAS Academy, I used to go here and there. I mean, like any monuments available or something, old temples available, I'll just go and I'll just visit that. After my class, I had no other. My main hobby is this only. I'll keep roaming. So, Rippan building. So, Rippan is a person, South Indians or especially Madras region, we cried like anything when Rippan went. In Madras presidency, there was a statement also, Rippan Engaloda Appan. Now we'll come to that. We'll definitely come to how to remember. Revision is the only concept, but I'll tell you. So Rippan Engaloda Appan, that much affection we had towards that person. It is in that sentiments our building was constructed. So how you treat that building. Another example, I once went to Pondicherry. So nearby to Pondicherry, another fort is there, Fort St. David. So I went to, so it's 18 kilometers from Pondicherry, Puducherry. So actually I went to see the fort, but none of the fort is there. So I asked, where is this Fort St. David? I mean, like they said, one hotel is there. You can go to that hotel. I was like, hotel? No fort. Even the locals don't know about it. Even the locals don't know about it. In Carnatic War, when you study, Fort St. David is very important. That is not available there. So, how can you neglect history? It's one of the most beautiful subjects. It is something, see, if you see the neighboring states, like Telangana, I'm not saying that everything has been destroyed or something like that. But comparing to other states, Tamil Nadu doesn't recognize historical monuments that much. That is there. Forget history, she will curse you to repeat her. So you should not forget. You can forgive, but don't forget. Anyway, so we have done with medieval India. Next importance that comes by is for the rise of British India. So we told that yesterday when we discussed about Mughals. The importance of Mughals is that the Mughals ruled almost all of India. The Mughals ruled almost all of India, and say from Afghanistan all the way to Assam border. Mughals tried many times to penetrate into Assam, but Assamese were very brave, very formidable, that many efforts of Mughal invasions to get into Assam, they kept on driving them back. So that is there. So almost from Afghanistan to Assam and up to North Karnataka, Telangana region, that was Mughal extent. If you take for Mauryans, Afghanistan to almost Arunachal Pradesh, and up to Mysore region was the Mauryan extent. So nobody has practically ruled Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Okay, when British comes, parts of Tamil Nadu, parts of Kerala, and many other, they did not have a continuous rule. They had, rule in between. But to have a continuous effect, they brought the idea called as subsidiary alliance system. So wherever they could not control directly, they indirectly controlled the ruler over there. The ruler was given protection by British troops. This we famously call as subsidiary alliance system. So British kind of directly and indirectly controlled the whole of India. And whoever resisted them, they immediately waged war on them and finished them. So directly and indirectly, British had their rule in India. Now, when you talk about the rise of the British in India, after the death of Aurangzeb, we understand that the decline of Mughals happens after the death of 1707. So 1707 to 1757, 1707 to 1757, almost 50 years, there was chaos because Mughals were not able to control. So this slow descendancy of the Mughals paved the way for the rise of Europeans. Okay. Now, how did the Europeans take up arms? That is the next question. How did the Europeans take up arms is the next question. Okay. So when we talk, say today also foreign companies are there in India. See, English East India Company. Then comes, see, the first was to Portuguese came, 1498, Vasco da Gama. So they came Portuguese East India Company. Then after that, the Dutch East India Company. Then the English East India Company. The last to come was the French East India Company. The French East India Company. Everybody is East India Company only to trade with India. They are all companies. Just remember, they are all companies. So when these companies came into India, what we understand is they were given protection by the local rulers or Mughals. Mughals also were there, local rulers were there. So they were given permission by local rulers or Mughals. What is the understanding? You can trade, we will protect you. So now also foreign companies are here in India. Like there is car companies, like what? Ford is there, Volkswagen or Skoda. These are all foreign companies. They are working in India, isn't it? Toyota, Honda. So when we have all these foreign companies working in India, what is one thing is Indian government has given them a permission. Okay, you trade in India. And what happens? Your property, your business inside India will be protected by the government of India. We are giving them protection. Okay, now imagine one thing. Now Indian government cannot protect them. What will these companies do? The companies will immediately appoint soldiers. The companies will immediately appoint soldiers. Okay. The companies appointing soldiers means what? Slowly they will have an army. This is what happened to East India Company. When the local rulers or the Mughals were not able to provide security for these companies, to protect them, they had to remove the sword. They have to unsheath the sword. Removing the sword from the cover, the cover is called as sheath. So sheath, unsheath, SEATH. Like I told in the first class, every subject has a decoration mode. History has a decoration mode. History has to be decorated in the way history has to. So histography, I told you. Okay. Geography has a way to decorate it. Law has a way, that's why we call it legal language. We call it legal language. Okay. So the companies also started resisting them when they were attacked. And when, as the time went by, they understood the governments are not strong. When the governments are not strong, the companies understood we kind of we can say guild only, kind of we can say guild, but guild was present in their country, not in our country, not in our country. The English East India Company came to trade to India in the beginning, lot of people will invest in that company. And they will say, okay, once this ship goes to India, bring back the merchandise. After the trade, the profit will be shared among the investors. So like that. So many times those people who invested were not merchants. Only when recognized merchants came, guild term was used. Guild term should be used and merchants only should be there. Not in every case, but most of the case, the concept of that word merchant should be there. Somebody who is a business leader. See, if I am not a business leader and then I am investing, then that is more or less a lesser form of guild, we can say. A lesser form of guild. That's what we understand. Okay. So when we talk about this same, they had to protect themselves and they understood that the governments were weak. So when the government was weak, there they understood perfectly that they can also involve themselves into most of the problems that are happening. So likewise, so first to involve, so what happened was when the company started involving, so when English company used to support one side, the French company will be supporting the other side. Dutch company will be supporting someone else. Portuguese company will be supporting someone else. So this was also a problem because what was the advantage of the Europeans against Indians? What was the advantage of Europeans against Indians? Any idea? What was the advantage of the European companies against the Indians? Exactly. weapon modernization or technological improvement, technological advantage. Technology was more, and especially in the military technology, because they had more advanced weaponry. They had more advanced weaponry. That is the understanding that was there with Europeans. So what they did, if Portuguese is standing with your enemy, or French or the Dutch is standing with your enemy, where the English East India Company is standing, then this technological advantage is lost. Indians are not mad or something. White color and all is a color and all you leave. Shoot you, shoot me, shoot a white guy, shoot a Japanese guy, shoot a Chinese guy. We all will bleed red blood only. Just because, you know, millimeters, the skin is only not even in millimeter. See, that's our problem. Just in millimeters, we judge everyone. We judge everyone in millimeters. Just because you and I look brown, an African looks black, a European looks white, and peel the skin, we are all the same. Peel the skin from a Japanese or a Chinese or a African or an Indian or an American, we are all the same. Just, I'm not saying that look at the flesh also, peel the skin. We are all the same. So Indians lacked unity, that is there. Indians very much lacked unity. And okay, we can say naval supremacy was there. Hari, you shouldn't go to Tipu Sultan and all. I am talking about 15th century, 16th century, 17th century. You are going into 18th century. 200 years later, India understood more. And we had technology also. So Tipu Sultan, when you speak, he is in 1700s. Okay, almost 1800s has reached. Late 1700s we are talking about. I am talking about the beginning. In the beginning, when Portuguese came to India, British came to India, there was not like this competition was not there. Okay. Weapon modernization. You have a gun, துப்பாக்கி. உங்களோட கையில ஒரு துப்பாக்கி இருக்கு. அது ரொம்ப பழசான ஒரு துப்பாக்கி. I am bringing a very modern machine gun. Okay. உங்களோட கையில இருக்கிற துப்பாக்கி ஒரு 100 வருஷம் பழையது. பழசு. என் கையில இருக்கிறது most modern machine gun. Who will be more effective? Who will be more effective? You know, strong rulers were there. Strong rulers were there because when British, Portuguese, Dutch, French all came to India, Mughals were there. When Mughals started, that is why I told the time 1707 to 1757. Over the time of 50 years, the Europeans understood that there was no strong ruler in India. Okay. So whatever we speak, anyway, the next importance that we have, okay, they have a motive also. Excellent. That we can say. They had a motive. That also we can say. Now, all this joined together. Now the race for defeating another European began. One European has to settle off the other European, because if the other European is supporting your enemy state, I mean, two local rulers are there. One side is supported by English, one side is French. The French and the English are equal. So then that is not an advantage for anybody. So what they did first was elimination of the other Europeans. In this, English became most victorious. English was able to oust or throw away all the others. All the others. And English went on to become the masters. So here we can use this clear term, they had motive. They had motive. That is it. Motivation factor and motive was there. So Likewise, when English became very strong, and that too the Mughal Emperor Jahangir gave them permission to establish a factory. So this factory was established in Surat, 1619, then came Madras, 1639, then came Calcutta, 1690. So all these places effectively company got registered, company started. By 1647, if you see, somewhere around 21 factories were there. Factory, when you say, a place where they live and do all the business. Today, factory means it's a workplace. But when you say in the 17th, 18th century factory, it is a place where they lived also. They will live there, daily activity will go there, and production also will go there. That is what we call a factory. So by 1647, understand, 300 years before independence, somewhere around 21 factories were there. But I'm saying for English East India Company. So what we understand is, so what we understand here is perfectly that the British clearly understood that there was a dearth of proper ruling in India. So they kept their steps very cautiously so that they can control each one of them and bring everybody under their control. So slowly, they started building. For example, like 1634, they got concession from Mughal Emperor, say Shah Jahan, to set up a business trading understanding in Bengal. So 1634 that happened. Then 1651, the first English factory began in Hooghly, near to Hooghly, that they came under the permission of Sultan Shah Shuja. Sultan Shah Shuja was the son of Shah Jahan. That time the ruler was also Shah Jahan. And he was a Subedar of Bengal. Then we understand, same year what happened was, one royal lady was there, Mughal royal lady. She fell ill. And she was all traditional medicines were used and they couldn't cure her. But when what can we say? An English medicine was applied, for an allopathic medicine was applied by a doctor called as Dr. Bogton. So Dr. Bogton, when he administered the medicine, she became well. So on this gratitude, the Mughals gave them free trade throughout Bengal for an annual sum of 3,000 rupees. Annual sum of 3,000 rupees, free trade was given throughout Bengal. And in 1698, the English acquired 3 villages. 3 villages from the Subedar of Bengal, Azimus Shan. Azimus Shan was a Subedar of Bengal. வணக்கம்ல சாந்தமூர்த்தி அப்படிதானே எழுதி இருக்கு வணக்கம் something like that. Okay. Thank you. So anyway, 1698. Rupaya was introduced during the time of Sher Shah. The concept of rupee comes during the time of Sher Shah, and Mughals coin was mostly called as mohar, M-O-H-U-R, mohar. That is where rupee kept on extending as it went by. The concept of rupaya comes during Sher Shah. So, as we were speaking, 1698, from Azimushan, they got 3 villages. These 3 villages are Sutanadi, Kalikatta, and Govindpur. Sutanadi, Kalikatta, and Govindpur. All these 3 places together, modern day we call it Calcutta or Kolkata. We say these 3 villages joined together to form the place which we have modern day called as Kolkata. That is it. So Kalikatta actually went on to become Kolkata. That is it. Then comes 1741. So when you speak about 1741, Alivardi Khan, who was the governor, deputy governor, he removed Sarfaraz Khan, who was the governor, and then he took over. So that time it was Muhammad Shah. Muhammad Shah was the ruler of Muhammad Shah was the ruler of the particular place, and he did not trouble the British much, because there is a statement of Alivardi Khan saying that the English are like bees. The English are like bees. So if I trouble them, they will sting me to death. But if I don't trouble them, they will make honey for me. This is what the words of Alivardi Khan. Alivardi Khan was very excellent ruler of Bengal. But in 1756, he dies. Now onwards, we are entering company's domination. 1756. In 1 year, the company domination will come. So every topic is not very important. Certain topics will come, which is important according to current affairs and according to previous year's question paper, as we have consulted. So I will be going into details of few topics. Very deep I will go. Very deep I will go. Modern India. Very deep I will go. Few topics I'll just brush and go, touch and go. So there are, I recommend from today, from tomorrow, Shandamurthy, எனக்கு அவ்வளோ டைம் இல்லை தமிழ் படிக்கிறதுக்கு இப்போ. I am in the class. Okay, I have very much said. I don't understand. I can read, but it take me time. அதுக்காக நீங்க தமிழ்ல போடாதீங்க. Please try to keep on with the classroom. I understand fast. I can reciprocate fast. I'll type in Malayalam and send. Or else I can speak in Malayalam also. Or I'll speak in Hindi or Sanskrit, whichever language I am comfortable with. Will you understand? I have a capacity to speak nearly 6 languages. 7 languages I know totally. If you want to play, I will also play. So there is a language which we both understand. We can communicate in that. No need to be sorry. I can understand your age. So, I also have come after this. I was a very naughty, boy, and I'm still one, I guess. So I appreciate all these things, but we have more serious matters to approach. So, any questions you have, we both understand one language easily. Please do that. And if you don't, like I told yesterday, try to put it across. Whatever I understand, I'll try to help. I'm not going to neglect any of the questions. That is for sure. And let me handle the lecture. Definitely. What my understanding is, so tomorrow, that's what I was starting from tomorrow. Since before me going into the topic, what I want you to understand is tomorrow onwards, you should also get prepared for, try reading it. Try reading the topics very much. Okay. NCRT alone. I don't want you to read anything else. So NCRT at least you read and keep, so that you will also get a understanding. Okay, if you have a personal note or something, that also you read. From current affairs and previous year's question papers, I have picked some topic. So that I will be discussing in detail, and then rest I will just brush and go. Okay, that is it. So anyway, so 1756 we have come. So when we talk on 1756, so 1756 next year, what we understand is, Alivardi Khan dies. So when Alivardi Khan dies, his grandson or Sirajuddaulah comes onto the scene. So when he becomes the Nawab of Bengal, now there are contenders. So Bengal, there has been issue going on. So there are chances of Bengal, questions from Bengal to come up. See, like I said, questions can be plucked up from any current affairs. So understand this election. So now only Trinamool Congress have been attacking most of the BJP workers, or that is an issue that is going on. So there are chances that the history of Bengal can be plucked out. What was, so this is one particular time, 1757, 56, 57, where Bengal goes into chaos. Bengal has a new administration. There are chances that they can ask that the local Bengal administration has been removed and a new foreign administration came. So from 1757 onwards, we will find that Bengal is under a foreign rule, British rule. So likewise, I'm not saying TMC, Trinamool Congress is foreign or something like that, but because of the issue that is happening in Bengal, and newspapers are discussing, medias are discussing, definitely there will be a chance of Bengal being asked. It's very important. Anytime, tomorrow if I am not there also, when you follow newspaper, when you follow news in media, understand this one concept. Current affairs is very important for how historical questions are approached in UPSC. There will be a trend. That is for sure. And if you ask a question, explain in what context you want it also. Explain in what context you want it, I can explain that to you. Other than that, just one line, totally out of the topic, I am not going to speak about it. Stick to the topic. Anything that extra you want, explain the context. Explain the context. If I feel it is worth, I'll definitely answer your question. Please. One lines I cannot, because I cannot sit and think, where does it come from, where all it come from. What is your genuine doubt? Explain it also. Because there are a million battles in history. I cannot sit here and collect everything. So explain where, what is your doubt in that? Then, so 57, what happens is that Siraj-ud-Dawla is 56, he is becoming. So when he became the Nawab of Bengal, there was a trouble for him which came. The main trouble that came for him was, there was other contenders. So he was to become the Nawab of Bengal. Other contenders were also there. These two contenders came from, one was Gashti Begum of Dhaka. From Dhaka is Bangladesh. That time there was no Bangladesh and all. It was all India. So Gashti Begum was from the Dhaka region. And then there was another one from Shaukat Jung of Purnia. So Shaukat Jung of Purnia and Gashti Begum of Dhaka contended for the position of the Nawab of Bengal. The Bengal Nawab's capital was Murshidabad, because Murshidabad problems all went in Murshidabad also now. Murshidabad was the capital of the Nawab. So what happened was, the British, what they did, they supported Gashti Begum. Why did the British support Gashti Begum? Is because Gashti Begum was a female woman. So those days women were not going outside that much. They will be always dependent on men. So British thought that if a woman can be brought under complete control, then entire Bengal can be controlled by British. This is why British gave the support for Gashti Begum. But what happened? Siraj-ud-Dawla was very formidable. But Siraj-ud-Dawla was timid personality. He was not as very secured, confident person like his grandfather, Ali Vardi Khan. He was a very timid personality. He used to get scared of everything. Simply somebody says also, he'll be like, what will happen? That leads to the downfall. See, a man needs to have confidence. Simply sitting and thinking that something will happen to them, something others will say, somebody will do this to me, somebody will do this, something will be doing from that side. life will, our energy will be drained in that tension. Our energy will be drained in those thoughts only. So generally we say a confident ruler is what? Who has confidence on himself. It's not about ruling or something. Any office that you are going to handle, all of you are sitting here, or most of you are sitting here to become civil servants. So once you become a civil servant tomorrow, there are a lot of political parties, there are a lot of politicians who are going to try to influence you unduly. It's your confidence that will make you stay in the position. And another man to respect you also, you should have confidence in yourself. Without confidence, no man will respect you. So this concept we don't see in Siraj-ud-Dawla. So what happened was, after this issue was solved because it's only English supporting a person. Then next importance that comes by is English requests for. So nearby to this so nearby to this position, what you can see is Murshidabad. You can see the map. Can you see the map? Can you see the map? Okay. So you can see very well how the positions are arranged. So Murshidabad is onto the capital, which is onto the northernmost understanding. Then we have Calcutta. Calcutta is where the British is. So nearby to British itself, Chandarnagar. Chandarnagar is where the French are present. So there are chances that French can attack English. So requesting this, they sent a letter to the Nawab of Bengal saying that, can we dig a moat? Moat means water will be present in front of the castle, fortification. Let me show you that. Can you see this? Yeah, you can see this picture, right? Like what is shown here. So around a castle, water will be present, so that it's not easy to attack that castle. So what the English said was, around Fort William in Bengal, they needed to. Can you see this picture? What I have shared? Can you see this picture? Can you see the picture? What I have shared? Okay. So this is what you call a moat. The water present around around the castle. So it's not easy to attack. So this is basically a defensive structure. So English requested, can such a image be made? Can such a moat? It's called a moat. So can such a concept be made? So very much it was allowed by who? Siraj-ud-Dawla. But what was done by English was they started increasing the offensive structures also. Offensive structure means they placed guns. They placed guns on the top. That again was a trouble for Siraj-ud-Dawla. Siraj-ud-Dawla never gave permission for any kind of offensive structures to be constructed. He gave permission for defensive structure. Siraj-ud-Dawla kept on sending many letters. English neglected these letters and they started continuing with building the offensive structures. So this, he got fed up because he is a ruler. When he says something, English is bound to follow. But they did not follow. On this account, Siraj-ud-Dawla attacked the region of Fort William and he captured the region. Governor Roger Drake, the governor's name was Roger Drake. So he escaped through the Hooghly River. And what happened was nearly around 146 English men, women, all others. No, in front of surrounding the temple, we don't find a moat. That is a pond. In front of a temple, what you find is a pond only. Center, a building should be there. Then around it, there should be water. That is what you call a moat. But temple, what you understand is there will be a pond on the side. A pond on the side will be there. So definitely that is not a moat. That is a pond only. Or even a lake can be there. So mostly it will be a pond. Okay, that's not a moat. A moat is a perfectly defensive structure, a perfectly military structure. Moat can never be civil structure. Moat is a defensive military structure. It's not a civil. Water near to a temple, a mosque or a church or something like that, any water body, that is mainly a civil structure. It's for use of civilians, not for military defense. So please understand like that. What we understand from this is, so as I was saying, 146 English men and women were captured. And so Siraj-ud-Dawla conquered this area, Fort William. He immediately went back to his Murshidabad. He gave the Fort William, in the hands of a person called as Manik Chand. So Manik Chand was there. What he did, he gave it to his subordinates. These subordinates, what they did was, 146 people were there. They were all pushed into a room. This room was 18 feet long, 14 feet wide, and 10 feet high. 18 by 14 by 10. That is the size of the room. So that is very important. The size of the room is very important. Now what happened? This was on 23rd of June. So June means it is very hot, sweaty. 146 people are there in an 18 feet room. So all of them were crowded. So what happened was, next morning when the people opened this door and this room and saw, many of them have died. Only 23 survived because of suffocation and all. This is famously called as the Black Hole Tragedy. The Black Hole Tragedy. So what happened? This news spread immediately. And in England, there was a huge uproar against Siraj-ud-Dawla. So English people wanted revenge on Siraj-ud-Dawla. So what happened? The English dispatched soldiers from Madras Presidency. They came to Bengal. Madras Presidency, they came to Bengal. The army was under Robert Clive. And what they did was, Manik Chand was bribed immediately. Manik Chand was bribed. And Manik Chand, after a showdown, because simply he cannot hand over the fort. So he made a showdown and then he surrendered the fort. So English got back Fort William. So Sirajuddaula also was like, he did not want to fight with the English. So what he did, he came for peace. He came for peace with the English. We call it famously Treaty of Alinagar. Treaty of Alinagar, because Calcutta's name was changed into Alinagar. So later on, Alinagar will be changed back into Calcutta. So now the name is Alinagar. That is why we call it Treaty of Alinagar. And after this, see why has Robert Clive come here? Robert Clive has come here for war. Now he has supported everyone. He made peace with everyone. This is all a, smoke. It's all a smoke screen. Intention is different. War is a different intention. So slowly he arranged. He met the officials of Sirajuddaula, like Omi Chand, Rai Durlab. Then most important one was the commander-in-chief. It was Mir Jafar. If you want to understand, if you want to remember Mir Jafar and Mir Qasim characters, remember the alphabetic order. J, Jafar comes first. Then if you're writing Qasim as K, if you're writing Qasim as Q, you're using the alphabets. After J only will come K. Alphabetic order. So it's easy to remember. If you have any confusion, who comes first, Mir Jafar or Mir Qasim, just remember in alphabetic order. First comes Jafar, second comes Qasim. I don't know what is rugged and classic means. You have to explain. So, the next importance, what we understand is, so he met all these officials and he bribed them all. So then what happened? English soon gave an offense. English became offensive. And they marched towards Murshidabad. So the Nawab also marched. Nawab also understood that the English is coming to fight a war, even after settling for a peace. Okay. So what happened was, English attacked the French. English attacked the French in Chandarnagar. Now what happened now? It's in Nawab's territory. Without the Nawab's permission, how can England and France, so we have, say, for example, like companies like Volkswagen and Ford. Ford is an American company. Volkswagen is a German company. Imagine Ford people are attacking Volkswagen company people. India, we are in India. How can an American company, if Americans may not like the Germans, but who gave the right for Americans to attack Germans in India when we are the rulers? People are the rulers. Okay, we have our own government. So likewise, the Nawab did not like it because English attacked the French. So what happened was, Nawab immediately tried to attack the English. And there they met at a place called as Plassey. Plassey was a mango grove where mango trees were extensively there. So on 23rd June of 1757, what we understand is the English army under Robert Clive. Now these numbers are very important because this is where we say technological advantage, military advantage in technology that we are saying. So 950 Europeans were there, 950 Europeans, 100 artillery, 50 sailors, and 2,100 Indian sepoys. Remember once more, 950 soldiers, 100 artillery, 50 sailors. So 950 plus 50, 1,000. 1,000 plus, so nearly 1,100 English sailors, artillery and soldiers. Then 2,100. So 1,100 plus 2,100. So somewhere like 3,200 soldiers in total. 3,200 soldiers in total for English East India Company. On the other side, Nawab came with 50,000 soldiers. 50,000 soldiers they came. And what happened? So initial firing took place. When initial firing took place, so when the initial firing took place, what happened was one of the commanders of Sirajuddaula, who was not bribed, his name was Mohanlal. His name was Mohanlal. Mohanlal died. He was shot. So Sirajuddaula, I said, was a timid personality. He's having 50,000 soldiers. One die means why should he care? So he got scared. Mir Jafar correctly understood that his Nawab will get scared. So he will slowly persuade Sirajuddaula to go back to Murshidabad. He will say, go back to Murshidabad, I'll handle everything. So taking 2,000 cavalry, he'll go back to Murshidabad. Once Nawab Sirajuddaula was out of sight, Mir Jafar, the commander-in-chief, will say, stand down. Entire Bengal army will be stand down. They will not fight. They will not participate in the war. A small group of French will be supporting the Nawab. Less than 100 or 100 around. A small band. English will be fired by the French, and that band will be immediately defeated. That band will be immediately defeated by English, and there ends the Battle of Plassey. Battle of Plassey, casualties. I mean, how many people were wounded or dead? 65 from the side of the company, 500 from the side of Nawab. 65 from the side of the company. Now we understand this. There is a question which comes in mains. The question that comes in mains is, Battle of Plassey was fought on the tables rather than on the field. It was already prefixed. Tables means what? They sat across the table and they decide, okay, you will not fight, I will only fight. And they were all bribed. So this is why the question comes. Battle of Plassey was fought on the tables and not on the field. So this is what the understanding also comes by. Then, after this event, Mir Jafar will go back to Bengal. He will kill Sirajuddaula. Commander-in-chief will kill the Nawab. And then he will take over the throne. He will take over the throne. Now, Mir Jafar has become the Nawab of Bengal. When Mir Jafar becomes the Nawab of Bengal, he will provide a lot of fund for English. It is said that English was given a territory called as 24 Parganas. Even today it is there. 24 Pargana territory will be given, and somewhere like 2,34,000 amount in equals to pounds was given to Robert Clive, and all the other officers received somewhere like 50 lakh rupees equivalent. Understand, in 1757, 50 lakh equivalent means that should be in millions now. So 50 lakh equivalent. Anglo-French struggle takes place, but one of the most significant victories of English is Plassey. So we usually begin with Plassey. Okay. Plassey is where England will get the foothold. The foothold in India starts with Plassey, 57. That's why we first enter Bengal and then come down to Carnatic region. Carnatic region, their success will come in 1763. But in 57 itself, a foothold. The first presence of English is made effective in Plassey. That is why we start from Bengal. Okay. But if you look then, Carnatic War has started in 1746 itself. So we will tell that, I'll tell that when I explain Carnatic War. Okay. So that is Battle of Plassey. So until here, let's hold it. Tomorrow onwards, let's go into the details of Buxar and Carnatic and all. Okay. So any questions? Otherwise, we'll wind up the class.